Hi everyone, I'm Zeiss, and on this channel I turn you into an RPG master. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to smash the subscribe button and keep in touch. Let's make a few things clear. I am not here to turn the game into a dick measurement tool of anything. I'm not claiming that I'm the best player of PoE 2 in the world or anything. Let's put it this way, I had the time to keep playing the Witch. And those who know me, I played already more than 2,000 hours in PoE 2 and about 10 times more the first game over 8 years. So I kinda formed an opinion that I would like to share with you today, and it's totally fine if you disagree with me. I'm not here to enforce my opinion or anything, okay? Now, with those two things out of the way, another thing actually, I don't necessarily have anything about softcore players or trade league players, but I get to mock you every now and then, and that's for fun, no offense, okay? Now, with those things out of the way, let's dive a bit into the class issues that I'm noticing for kinda playing too much, I know, I guess. I would like to begin by deciphering the character's name, which is Bane, Blight, and Voidsphere. When, for those who already played the first game, probably already realize and know what it means. We don't see here the option to, let's say, craft a super sigil out of other sigils, so to speak. For those who understand IRL chaos magic, would probably understand what I'm trying to say here. For those who don't, this is like combining multiple spells into a greater, completely changed spell with a different functionality for the operator, so to speak. Okay, so in this case, for example, in the first game, there's a way to combine curses and make them a completely different spell, like combine Enfeeble and Despair and whatnot together into one spell called Bane, and it can be supported by other gems to make it even stronger. I don't think this is coming in PoE 2 because of how curses work and activation and so on and so forth. Even if it does, it might be not as good as in the first game, so I'm absolutely not looking forward to this if it's in its current state. I'm not sure, but it would be nice to have something which combines the curses instead of like having to use the presence for this specifically. Hopefully we get more things to use the presence for and actually use a super sigil curse, so to say. That's something I'll be very intrigued to play with, you know. Another thing that we don't notice in this game yet, and hopefully will come in the game, maybe with the shadow class, is the eye light ring. Did I say that right? There's this ring in the first game which implicit has chaos damage. And we all know that basically the Chaos Witch was never a boss killer, even in the first game, right? It could be with very specific setups and the skill Blight, which we're gonna talk about a bit in a bit. But in general, the Witch, especially the Chaos one, is not as good a boss killer compared to the fighter classes, for example, but is incredible mapper and juicer, which we don't necessarily see in this game unless certain conditions are met. And having to combo trash mobs might not be the favorite thing of many people, especially those who played the first game too much. There is no way to apply curse on hit, for example, and I think that's a major problem. It's not that easy to get it in the first game, but it's not that hard anyway. So imagine you not having to curse to reduce the combo and your skill rotation, so to say, and your totem, for whatever the fuck reason we have to use a totem. Imagine they being able to destroy your spell and you stop dealing damage, but that's something else here, okay? That's something else. Anyway, I imagine your totem being able to apply the curse on hit and shorten your combo, so you can actually do more meaningful actions, so to speak, so to say. All right, that might be cool. What I noticed is the Chaos Catalyst of Chayula, I think it is called, is extremely rare. So even if you get like good rings, yeah, good luck quality, good luck giving them meaningful quality, so you can actually try to corrupt them and get something really good. I tried reforging, doing breach to no avail. Didn't see even a single one, so I don't know if that's even a thing. Another big problem for the damage over time builds in general, I believe, is a phase run, okay? Because you cannot freely pass through monsters unless you have this stupid booked unique, which allows you to do so when you're dodge rolling. And I don't necessarily have anything against that, but the way that the chaos damage over time builds are played in general is not allowing enemies to hit you either by very good and well maneuvered gameplay, the dexterous classes, or just having phase run and evasion and so on. So you apply the dot, you move and pass freely through enemies, and they just die behind you from the dots, and you never turn back to care about them. While in this game, you actually have to combo trash mobs and run away from them instead of kite through and obliterate them. That's pretty often, which is a bit sad. Not necessarily bad, but a bit sad. Okay, let's put it this way. There is no withering step, which grants you elusive and immediately stacks withered. Okay, there is a withered wand, which, come on, close to mind. You don't care about its damage. You only care that it applies withered, so it gets as high as possible, as soon as possible. When you apply the dots, so the enemies could start taking more damage immediately. Which reminds me of there's no efficacy support, there's no punishment support. Oh boy, where do I even start? How did I even start? But anyway, I guess you get the idea. Hopefully those things are coming with the Shadow class, because it's usually a chaos-oriented silent assassin. And without those tools, I don't think it will be a good one. It's also saboteur, traps, mines, and daggers and whatnot. But anyway, I guess you get the idea, right? There is something really horrible to the point that I had to use magic from another school of thought. I'm trying to. I'm talking about Frost Wall here, okay? So, the way to make enemies not reach us is usually this. Uh, how I'm doing it. Using Frost Wall, so I block their path, or use the skeletons, right? Um, whatever the fuck. Use the skeletons and immediately stay right behind them. I didn't do it properly, but okay. I guess you get the idea. Like, using the sigil and immediately moving behind the skeletons, especially if there's some kind of narrow path or anything. And that usually helps me not take damage at all. And I believe this is better than a focus, because if you play with a focus, all the attention of every enemy gets towards you, and this could get to, I don't know, some ridiculous situations, so to say. Uh, what else? Yeah, so why I'm mentioning this? Because there is no fucking void sphere. You know, the black hole which hinders enemies and gathers them together so you can actually do perform your combos on more enemies at once. And I believe those things that I mentioned already will be very helpful for ritual, the ritual mechanics, so you kind of get to the outer and keep killing the enemies in the white circle, so the outer area gets its sacrifice, and the monsters are part of the revive pool for the current or subsequent ritual encounters, the current map you're running, so to say, and maximize tribute. This is not a thing in this game, right? Like, the only good ritual map, I believe, is Fortress, because of its natural pack size, and you can even buff it more, but it has bad performance for some reason, to the point that I'm playing on PC now instead of PlayStation, right? That's ridiculous. Anyway, let's not deviate too much. There's no void manipulation, there's no efficacy, there's no decay support, there is no infused channeling, right? And respectively blight. Because blight, it's an AoE spell that I could show you in a bit. It's an AoE spell, and it's close combat spell, hinders, can stack, which makes it also a really good close combat skill and a very good bossing skill. And this class currently is probably one of the worst bossers, and at least it can tank the heavy hits, but that's another story. So we don't have a bossing skill, we don't have like 90% of the tools an actual Chaos Witch could use in order to be effective. We have to do combo to actually begin imagining that we are hitting something. I don't know, there's no malevolence aura. Imagine using malevolence, like use presence for that, and combine it with despair. For example, you curse with despair, or your totem applies despair on hit. Usually in the first game, totem was used to apply wither, but let it be apply the curse so you can apply another one. That would be much appreciated. Malevolence is an aura which makes enemies take more damage, right? So enemies in your presence take more damage. That I think will definitely help a lot, especially if you can grow the presence. I think mine is quite large, so to say. That's very significant presence for a solo league, I believe. Anyway, no damage on gloves. Like in the first game, there's Essence of Delirium. We have it here, but it has some other function. And if you apply it to a glove, it gives you more damage over time on the glove. On the fighter classes, it's very easy to get the damage on the gloves, on the rings, on everything. Like attack modes everywhere, on the helmet, on the rings, on the amulet. I wonder why they didn't give us attack modes on the belt, because it holds your pants together so you can actually stand properly, or even in the boots. Why not attack rating, accuracy rating on the boots GGG? Because you can take distance and be more accurate and whatnot. What the fuck, bro? Attack modes everywhere. Anyway, I guess you understand my frustration, right? It's ridiculous. It is very difficult actually to scale damage on the casters for this particular reason, and the only meaningful way is like spell damage, which it's not much because it's increased, it's not more, it's not a multiplier, it's just additional, and if the base is low, there's nothing to scale. I mean, trying to scale a low number to begin with is bad. And the other way is to add plus to skills, which also introduces resource problems. Let's put it this way. If you are not a noob in the RPGs, you would typically split the combat system into offense, defense, speed, utility, and resource. Right? If you split it into less things, there's something wrong with you, okay? Again, no offense, you don't have to agree with me. But I guess most people, by what I noticed, they focus on one or two of those things, and the others are suffering and are not as good, and they have build problems and come and ask me, why is that? Well, I guess now you know. Anyway, there's no transfiguration, right, to increase the damage. Again, damage thing. There's no awakened gems. Hopefully those things make it into this game. I would definitely like that. And I don't know, guys. I mean, the class is not so bad. It doesn't necessarily have to delete the entire game easily, unlike other classes and other skills in particular. Wink to the meta slaves, I guess. Okay, a few more things to mention. Is there's no dual wielding, and in the first game this is very good because you can actually block attack and spells, right? Very useful defensive wise as well, and offensive wise as well, because come on, 2 ounce ridiculous damage, right? Don't get me wrong here. If they even introduce this, right, and there's like this is a completely probably gonna be completely new mechanic for this, so it's in the form of a buff, so to say. And while people are usually very happy about buffs, I am usually not. Let me tell you why that is. Because GGG is noticeably very strict about balance and against ridiculous builds. Every now and then it happens, like something is really strong and OP and all that, and I'm usually not playing it. But anyway, why I'm saying this, because if there are buffs, content usually requires it, so lower your expectations about something being ridiculously strong. Just saying. That's my opinion. Again, you don't have to agree with me or anything. It's just what I noticed over the years in those games, the RPG genre. There is something quite significant actually missing, especially having in mind the build I'm playing is low life. So the only way to keep it low life is eternal life. Okay, that's fine, no problem. But you have to do self damage and get it right to be 30% or 75 or whatnot. If you have the belt, I guess you get the idea. But the better way, I think, will be arrogance support, which actually lets you reserve life, right? Like on the Infernalist, reserve life, but get something in return. And this also reminds me of Pain Attunement. In the first game, it's you get more damage while you're on low life, and you can't necessarily use this on damage over time, because in PoE 2 it's just the crit damage, which is, come on, ridiculous, and I don't think that's the way to go, because being on low life, it might be dangerous to begin with, and just getting the crit, so it means you have to scale crit and actually do crit. I don't think that's good. We need more damage sources. The offense of this class is ridiculously weak. Ridiculous, gonna be my favorite word lately, looks like, but okay. I mean, that's the way I'm putting it. I don't know, there's probably more to say, but I want to get to playing, so hope you enjoyed this one, I guess, and see you on one of my next videos or live streams. And yeah, if you enjoyed or not what you just saw, feel free to react, right? And yeah, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Take care.